Hello everyone, I'm S.
I'm T.
Welcome back to more Darkest Dungeon.
So, today we got Toe Stain. Excuse me. Toaston.
Boretin. Bree.
Brr.
Burr.
Brr.
We have Burr.
With an I.
Burry.
We have Fairy with an I.
Ingarand.
With an I.
Engarandi.
That almost sounds like Uncle Randy. So, here's the trinkets. Dismoss's head with the Brawler's gloves for the max damage output. Bury with a crescendo box and the Ancestor's candle. A Fairy with the ethereal crucifix and the sacrificial cauldron. Going hard damage game. By the way, if anyone ever wonders why I do that, it's so my hotkeys will be correct. And Angarandi, you know, usual kind of thing, has the tough ring and the Ancestor's signet ring for the accuracy, the HP, and the protection.
She's bloodthirsty, night blinded, and enlightened.
Also,
But she hates Unholy Eldrick and she is unearring. So many ears.
we're gonna bring a couple more torches, and then that's it. It's us.
Embark.
Prying eyes had become a nuisance along the old road, and so I undertook to receive my most curious deliveries by way of marine shipments. A sheltered jetty was accessible by a narrow stone stair off the back of the manor, and a discreet system of pulleys could hoist even the heaviest prizes up the rock face from a securely tied dinghy below.
I wonder whose eyes were prying.
The poor
Since it never explains
chained
if anyone
and
even
drowning
cares.
for
Aside from the
eternity.
No, it does.
folk.
Well, there was like a miniature rebellion.
Yes, you think it would have caught in the eye of, I don't know, the kingdom he's in, unless he's an independent dukedom.
I think he is an independent dukedom. Another reason why he got away with such heresies.
Why no one seems to care so much. I think there are other towns and hamlets in the dukedom itself, or is it just a tiny hamlet?
Well, to be believed, it was a very large town once. No. Is anything or good meme? Oh, go ahead, Sean. Don't be shy. I'm sorry. This is our first video of the day. I just ate a sandwich. That's what all those noises were.
Sorry, I was thinking.
Thinking about how Farrah just got stabbed in the face.
Yes. Thinking if this isn't the HRA, then there's not going to be much oversight on anything.
I feel like I just said why. It's probably not in the HRA.
No, it probably is. By its location, dress, architectural style, terrain.
Why do you know all this, nerd?
There were pagans living in the HRA. Straight up, non-Christian, ancestor and spirit worshipping heathens in the time of the HRA. There wasn't much oversight going on.
Oh yeah, wait. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Nobody cared.
After all, only the church cared, and they can only operate in the dukedoms that would allow them to.
Unless they made the declaration of crusade, but
Unless they, of course, the church controlled the dukedom, or the county, which did happen.
I don't want to deal with a corpse, so well, he died.
Gently. This is how a life is taken.
That's just hit him in the head till he dies.
Maintain the offensive.
You wouldn't handle your problems if you asked T. Which, of course, you did, old Papa T. Everyone wants to know what Papa T would do. I mean, that's just kind of a good life lesson, something to go by out there, all the kids out there. Just, when you're thinking, when you're in a bad situation, just ask yourself, what would T do? You'll get through life probably in prison by the age of 21. If you're lucky.
What kind of life lesson was that supposed to imprint?
You should never trust people you don't know.
The slow death. Unforeseen.
I see.
Unforgiving.
That kind. Not everything is as it seems. That kind of life lesson.
Huh. Never trust a guy with a supervillain's name?
Probably not.
Or try not to follow. You're named after the King of Ireland who killed his brothers, so try not to,
So that should tell you everything you ever needed to know.
What, that I'm named after the guy he killed?
Yeah.
Well, I'm named after the guy who killed the guy who was named T first. And then he killed his brother later, several generations later.
Success.
Ireland, best known for its patricide.
Patricide.
And that'd be killing fathers. What is the sibling one? I'm sure somebody in the comments in a month's time.
Matricide?
Matricide is killing your mother.
Oh, brother side? Feather side? Beth's side? Bethan's side.
What nobles do all the time?
Nobility. Incest. Ooh, that's a good one.
No, we're not talking about how they make more of themselves. We're talking about how they kill themselves.
Incest, but like
Murder. No, those are words. There's a side word for it.
no. What I mean is they slowly die.
What? No, they have people for that. Tell them who they're not related to, who they're related to, but not too closely, because they actually have to have doctors for
I
that.
still can't believe that's a real thing.
I don't know what you were expecting.
I don't know. Maybe I was just hoping their neck folds would driven them all to suicide.
I'm expecting that they'd run out of family members eventually.
I guess. I mean, they kill so many. I guess I know what we're doing. I know what they're doing when they're not culling the numbers.
Building up the numbers.
Exactly. So this is going really well so far, by the way.
Well, just mocking. Oh, yeah, face it. How many nobility do you think are actually going to watch our videos?
How many nobility you think? Actually, now that I think about it, that's probably like how they spend their days.
Really? I thought they'd actually have like things they'd spend lots of money on.
A trifling victory.
I mean, aren't they
But a victory
technically rich?
nonetheless.
Well, I mean, technically, they own the majority of everything in places where nobility exists.
In places that have that merely exist.
Especially in a lot of other countries where they don't have like kings and such anymore, so there's no one like above the nobles.
They still exist, but now they have unlimited power. They are behind.
Usually, except for like a small group of individuals who are made up of nobles themselves, who are usually voted on by nobles.
Yeah. I guess the UK is the exemption to the rule because they actually have a monarchy.
Oh, they still have their queen.
And they have this. They have their own style of
Who
nobility.
is the coolest, might I add?
Oh yeah, she's also like the longest running monarch. I know she's the longest running English monarch in history, but she's probably also up there with the longest running monarch period. I mean, I think they got some. There's like some Chinese emperors that however be out in age with 100+ years, but other than that, I mean,
Damn Chinese.
she's beat out like the majority of them. Them and their witchcraft.
Damn, and their healthy living. Mild intelligence. Usually related to their healthy living. That's how you
Their
know.
ability to hold on to an empire for 10,000 years and still have it recognizable as the same place.
Lie in wait, unsprung and thirsting for blood.
They can go, hey, the Romans, you remember those guys? Ha 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 ha.
So, I was watching a video on empires have killed the most non-combatant people, right? Like, who have killed the most people in the who are not, like, soldiers. Right. Can you guess who the top 3 were? Top 5?
Like historic?
Yeah, like historical.
Um,
And I think it was order from
I think
least killed to most killed.
the
It was
Asia.
Japanese, right?
Right.
And then it was, oh my god, you knew the place that another country. It got disbanded like 100 years ago. It was like a
Where was it? Geographical location.
probably like Eastern Europe. It was like Eastern Europe.
brought
Killed
low
like
and
14
driven
million
into the
people
mud.
or
The
something.
USSR.
Probably, yeah. And then yeah, the USSR. Thank you. And then it went. You know those people who owned? I think they were Belgium, I think it was, because the guy privately owned that territory.
The local warlords were his vassals. So it
Yeah,
was in his
and he
name, even
killed-
if he's not the one who did
They
it.
killed 50 million people,
Right.
right, in their like 20 years, and then it was France, and then it was England, who has over their empire's rule have killed, I think it's like an estimated 100 million
Another mariner?
non-combatants.
So when they talk about, all the sins Western Europe has committed, they're really talking about between them and France.
For the most part, because it looks like
High-fiving each other,
'cause
murder boner.
Napoleon with slavery killed like
Napoleon?
12. Yeah, there was like this whole thing where he had slavery on this one island. That alone killed 12 million people.
I'm pretty sure he had overseers in charge who went with the slavery idea. If I remember correctly, he himself didn't like slavery, but he had a lot of...
Laden with loot
if you
Uh,
want.
are often low on supplies.
I think that's just the situation with a lot of those people in charge. It's not that they liked or disliked it, or that they were racist. They just didn't give a shit.
Honestly, it's probably more like what the chief don't know won't hurt him, as long as it produces, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he's not going to oversee every single island.
I mean, he's never going to come here and find out.
Which island was it? It was...
It was like
Was it in...
Kangia, something like that.
Yeah, the problem is that the governor, back in his day, he had to send letters. And if the letter didn't get sent,
It
the
didn't
months
happen.
the months it took to reach him, if it reached him, because he's on top, there's so many people on the bottom that would get the letter first. I mean, there's... And what if that dude had friends in office?
What if you just never
Politics.
sent a fucking letter?
Yeah, I mean, there's just so much shit. I do know he kept a lot of the old French,
But yeah, it
Figures.
was like 12 million dead from that alone, and that was like one thing.
that was just one island.
That was like one island. They only killed like everyone who lived there.
I can see why the UK would rack up the most kill count, simply because they had the most land to rack up a kill count in. I mean, if you think about,
Oh yeah, Africa, Asia.
I mean, the UK had a huge empire. I mean, it's South America, Africa, the Caribbean. So they really did have the pick of the litter when it came to land.
Though I will say, none of them could beat out the Japanese, who
Over
Cold.
its 10,000.
No, in one attack of a city, right? It was China's then capital, culled 50% exactly. Like, I mean, literally exactly. Not one more, not one less.
It's what, how many millions of people?
Oh, at the time it was just 300,000.
But they killed half the population.
No, it was 600,000 people who lived there, who were there to get Das killed.
Nanjing,
Yeah, I think.
when they
Nan.
went on, like, raping, murdering, burning sprees.
Yeah, you know when they did that.
Oh,
Eat your heart out, anime fans. Genocide aplenty. They should have more genocide in their anime. It's littering their history.
that's actually the entire point of their bad guys, if you notice, though. They have no qualms about killing large groups of people, right?
Just like their bad guys.
Yeah,
Just like a lot of bad guys in real life.
it's just that they kind of owned Japan for some time. There was a period of time where they were in charge. It wouldn't be the first time in history that men like that were in charge. Just Japan's so old, you just have so many examples of them being
Man,
able to get
what's it with like
Triumphant
Asians
pride
and genocide?
precipitates
I mean,
a dizzy
we got
fall.
Pol Pot. We got the other guy. You know what I'm talking about? He was like around the same time.
really
Like,
large population groups with very long histories with each other.
Like, they are, like, big fans of the genocide. I mean, we talk about, like, all the white people's genocide, Nazis and all of that. We like to, just like the Asians, we committed a lot of genocide on each other.
Yeah.
Ooh, Europeans, big fans of killing the people for their eye colors. Oh.
But the real simple thing is
those
that
green eyes I see.
European nations have never lasted as long as Asian ones have. China, Vietnam, Korea, Japan, they've been nations for forever. There is very, I mean, when we see them broken up, it's not as in China doesn't exist. It's a warring states period where China is in disorder. But not at, like, say, looking at France and seeing it broken up into a dozen Celtic tribes and going, there's no France, because there's no French. Or looking at Germany in most of its history and saying, well, there is no such thing as Germany, because Germany is it doesn't exist. There's just a bunch of different Germanic groups, each one with its own nation.
Because technically, by what a lot of people consider a nation, Germany doesn't truly exist.
Oh, sapphires.
It is a
Remind
collection
yourself that
of
overconfidence
Holy
is
water.
a slow and insidious killer.
It's just like it's Third Reich, I guess, is what we're going with here.
Reich just means rain.
We already
People
explained
assume, yeah. I don't know, maybe it's because Hitler talked about Reichs a lot.
that. Well, that's because it was the unification
Circle in the
of
dark.
the people.
The battle may yet be won.
I was kind of like his thing.
Killing everyone else to unify his people.
Yeah, big fan of that.
Yeah, it would have worked better if he had done the whole liberation thing with the Russians.
Would have worked
If
better
he had-
if he wasn't such a fucking dick.
Yeah,
If he was like, what he really needed to do to win was, I mean, the Soviet Union's biggest enemy was everyone who had to live in the Soviet Union.
He could have played it up how the Germans were were liberators.
They could have been very easily.
And then they could have very easily integrated all that Russian land into a greater
But
German empire.
they were intent on the
There were
genocide.
never going to be enough Germans to take over all of Russia's land. There never really were going to be. Germany would have collapsed long before, just due to infighting, because over the years it would take.
Well,
Because
not just that.
which houses were going to get all the land?
No, it's like, oh, it wasn't just that. Well, here we are. Now, who the fuck's gonna live here?
Yeah,
'Cause we've killed everyone.
And how many people are we going to remove from their comfy city-states to live out in wilderness?
One more question. So you win, right? You conquer it. A lot of people don't know that the things at Auschwitz were kept very, very quiet for very good reasons. Because believe it or not, human beings are not down with bringing in prisoners and then just kind of filling the room with gas and killing everyone inside. Not a thing most human beings are, okay with. How are they going to convince all of those people to then kill?
How are they going to convince
all of those
the
people?
military? Because the SS were made of some of the nastiest just human beings you could find. But there weren't a lot of the SS. In fact, the Wehrmacht did not like the SS, and they had a tendency to try to kill them when they found them. Because, I mean, they had to, take off their uniforms and their Iron Eagles and all that to hide from the average trooper. So, there was that mess. There was, because a common German philosophy throughout the ages is it doesn't matter as long as you're not actively going out against people. What you believe doesn't really matter as long as you're not trying to kill everyone in it.
Which is exactly at the time what they were doing.
So it's a very un-German idea to begin with, if you want to go by established German thought. The Nazis were themselves not particularly good. But, yeah, I mean, there would have been that mess instead of, say, adding Russia into Germany. it would be easy enough to fold over the simple fact that they may not have been German in the past.
Yeah, but I mean, here's the thing about Germany. Germany's not a nation. It's not an ethnicity either. There is no German ethnicity, which is why they always used Aryans. Aryans this, Aryans that.
It was what's supposed to be the unifying thing. Well, all of our different groups are unified based on this. But the Russians also have blonde hair and blue eyes. So do the Scandinavians.
Yes, they do actually.
And Eastern
more
Europeans.
Russians have blonde hair and blue
It could be easily worked into that all these peoples are also based off the Aryan group stock. You can already fit France, Italy, Spain, and the UK into it because all were based historically, all have roots in Germanic tribes that went and conquered and intermixed with the local people, like the Italians, northern Italy especially, the Lombards. But instead of Germifying Italy, or making it more German, they adopted Latin, the more Italian Latin groups culture when they went down. That's why you have blonde people in Italy. Blonde hair, blue eyes, pale skin.
I mean, also, here's another thing. Some of those people stationed there a long time because, especially in a lot of nations, they won really quickly. So how are you going to convince people to kill, at this now current moment, their own family?
The people that that was a big problem in Russia. They didn't tell you about the German rebellions in Russia when they found out what was happening. Soldiers found out what happened to the villages behind them. They'd come in, being hailed as liberating heroes, right? Leave believing they had saved a town from monsters. They were liberating against them. They were fighting against the communists, right? Liberating people. And then to only find out that the town was killed in their absence by the SS who came behind them. That they weren't told were coming.
Well, it's because the SS were always backline. They were really just kind of officers who had very little to do with actual real battles.
They weren't popular. They would wind up dead if trying to lead men. When in the World War II, when the United States went up into Italy and we captured one of the armies, we wanted all the SS officers brought up. They threw corpses at us. They were more than happy to bring the SS up. They just didn't bring them alive.
Well, it's because nobody liked them. They were always bad.
Yeah, there were always sketchy things to do with them.
Now, let's talk about the game.
Yeah.
These guys are horrifying looking, but not actually all that.
Though Toastum is probably going to have a hard time.
Self-preservation is paramount at any cost.
She could have handled that better.
She could have, but she didn't.
So, yeah, watch the gameplay. Sheer controversial history.
Not really.
I don't know. It can be.
A lot of people don't really, at the end of the day, when it comes to World War II, people talk about, the Holocaust and nothing
In the
else.
swirling blackness.
Because, I don't know, it's big. It's big. Holocaust is not, it was a big part of what Germany, known as
Nazi Germany.
Nazi Germany.
Well, it's the only bit in Nazi that people actually know anything about. Even, yeah.
I mean, it's a thrown around term, especially now, because a lot of people are throwing it around just every which way.
Yeah. It's,
Nazi this, Nazi that.
even
Woe to the sheep.
absent Abbott.
Or does the absence of the shepherd not invite the wolves?
Even though half the time the people saying it are actually fairly Nazi themselves.
Not knowing Nazism is in fact a form of socialism mixed in with it's a unique thing. It's socialist in base, but it is mixed in with other things, like the weird purity thing.
Genetic purity.
Yes, which itself was its own philosophy that can be tied in right or left. It's just we are the best people ever, and everyone else must die, basically.
Or submit.
Submit or die, you know, that kind of thing.
Shall we settle on a safe
I
word?
do not envy the guy that she has brought in.
Or girl?
Both. I don't envy just all the people she has brought in.
I did.
And the barn animals.
And like that, that's the episode.
Yes. We will see you all in the next part, where we continue to talk about things. We just don't know what yet.
Alright, everybody.
Bye-bye.